All right, Shalom. First and foremost, all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakodash. Double honor to the apostles, as great millstone. And shout out to you brothers doing this thing in sincerity and truth and with charity. And I'm hop right into it. Well, firstly, Yahweh's name, Heavenly Father. Bahasham is in the name. Ba-in, Ha-the, Sham, name. Yahweh Shai is name, only begotten Son. And Rakakodash means Holy Spirit, literally translated Spirit Holy. Rakah, Spirit, Quadash, Holy. And I'm going to go into, the garden. All right, the garden and the motherland, because it's one and the same. And see, when you read through Genesis, because Lord willing, I want to make my way through these different breakdowns and points in Genesis and just pull out whatever knowledge the Spirit is giving me, to edify the body. So just another look into Genesis, and it talks about Eden, but then it talks about the garden in Eden, because Eden is the whole earth. All right, but there's a specific garden where man was made, man. Okay. This is Genesis 2 and 8. And Yahweh power planted a garden eastward in Eden. And there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made Yahweh power to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden. So this lets you know that there's Eden, which is the whole earth. Let's get that word Eden. Idon. Okay. It says pleasure. Okay. And that's what this earth is. It's supposed to be paradise, Plain and simple. But then it said a garden placed in it. So we're going to locate this garden, man, with the precepts. It's a Genesis 2 and 10. And the river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. The name of the first is Pison, that is which compasses the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. There was Bethlehem, and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon, the same as that compasses the whole land of Ethiopia. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel, that is which goeth toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. And it didn't give a description of Euphrates because the Lord, in his infinite foresight, because he dwelleth from everlasting to everlasting, it's only proves the scriptures is true. He didn't give a description for Euphrates because Euphrates remained unchanged. The name remained unchanged. Okay? So let's jump up. It starts with Pison, which covers the whole land of Havilah. Let's get what that land Havilah is, man. It's Arabia. All right. A district in Arabia of the Ishmaelites, named from the second son of Cush. All right, so it'll be what Arabia is at. So what river covers that, or body of water covers and runs through that whole land? So, let me go to this map. Oops. That'll be your Red Sea. Okay? That'll be your Red Sea. I don't like this map either. That's not a good one. This one is better. Okay? It runs straight through. You see the Red Sea? It runs straight through Arabia. Okay? And then we have after that. Well, let me keep reading. And they got gold. They got gold. Look at the Arabs, man, with their gold. They got gold-plated cars, man. All right? It's a very resourceful land as far as gold goes, man. And precious stones, This is a huge landmass, You got to consider this. Yemen, you see Yemen. We read Yemen up in the Hebrew for the definition of the word. All right? And here we go. Okay? Let's go back to it. Genesis 2 and 11. The name of the first is Pison. That is that which compasses the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And Pison is talking about the Red Sea. And the gold of that land is good. There is Bethlehem and the onyx stone. And the name of the second, let me look something. I never really looked up, onyx stone. See Yemen on there. Now, of course, you can find these different stones. Like you don't just find diamonds in one cave in Africa. You can find diamonds across the world. But certain places have more produce more of a certain stone or a certain precious metal. And we got something. You see what we have again right here. We have Yemen popping up for the onyx. So it's gold and onyx there. And we looked up the word anyway. You know it's Arabia. Okay. Man, that's hard. Okay, that's hard. Let me go back. Let me look up this word. I never looked this up either. Okay. It says the best quality came from today Afghanistan. But this resident may not be the actual bedlam that's mentioned here. So it's cool. Point is, the word, the definition, we know where it's at based off of that alone. Salakia. All right. Anywho, back to Genesis 2 and 13. And the name, let me get the Hebrew for Bedouin. Let's say gum resin. Something in pieces, fragrant gum, others a pearl. So it says a precious article of merchandise mentioned. It says Arabian manna is compared to this. So there you go. Good. That's perfect. This is perfect. Arabian manna is compared to this. Okay. It says it's the gum of a tree growing in Arabia. Come on. I'm trying to highlight just the one part. What was I just at? Salakia. You see what it says Josephus right here? Fuck, I can't just mark it. All right, anyway, it says Josephus understand Babylon, which is the gum of a tree growing in Arabia, India, and Babylonia. So there you go. Just further proof. Just wanted to look into those words. I never did. But further proof that it's the land of Arabia. So this river covers that whole land, which is the Red Sea. And the name of the second river is Gihon, the same as it that compasses the whole land of Ethiopia. Which Ethiopia, this country Ethiopia is right here, and it's orange. But when Ethiopia was named Ethiopia, they used to call the whole land or lots of parts of Africa, especially, the northeastern part of Africa, they used to call that whole thing Ethiopia. Ethiop. I think it means, is it black or hot? So when they put that Greek title on there, it was a generic term for parts of Africa, period. Either way, the country Ethiopia is still in that same area for the most part. I'm going to try to get the definition. Right. Burnt face. That's what it is. Burnt face. burnt face. And they was applying that to Africa in general, parts, the eastern part of Africa in general. But what water runs through Ethiopia? You see the Nile River. It runs straight up. It's run straight up and through, all the way up till it pours down to the Mediterranean. Okay? They run straight through the land of Ethiopia. Kawash, the Cushites. And the name, in fact, like Eritrea, those are also Cushites. If I'm not mistaken, the people of the Sudan are also Cushites. And, oh man, I didn't mean to close that map out. Which map was that? I want to look up one more thing about Kush. Okay. Salaki, bear with me. Let me just go to Genesis 10. Salaki, bear with me. So I'm trying to figure out if the Sudan is damn. The Sudanese are Cushites as well. Of course, they're Hamites. I'm missing something? Okay. Well, I'm not sure about the Sudanese. Oh man, I gotta deal with this. I gotta deal with this. I clicked on the wrong verse. Okay. They come from Mizraim. Okay. Nevertheless, we got the Cushites whose land is right there. Salaki, I'm just, this is Great Millstone. This example the apostles and the elders showed us. We look words up. I had to look into it, just to be certain. I didn't want to say anything wrong as far as the Sudanese and what Hamite nation they belong to, which they are the Philistines. But anyway, we got the Nile. All right, back in Genesis 2 and 14, and the name of the third river is Hiddekel. One more thing. The land occupied by descendants of Cush located around the southern parts of the Nile. So they're saying that they were south at one point, but now look what Ethiopia is located at. So that whole little strip, the eastern part, was for the most part generically termed Ethiopia. Okay, which that's not what they were actually called. They were Kawash, or Kush in English transliteration. But water runs through that Nile. Let me get back to. I'm finna run through it now. This Genesis 2 and 3, Genesis 2 and 14. And the name of the third river is Ezekiel, which is the Tigris. That is which goeth toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. So all you have to do is look at a map. All right, you see Euphrates right here. All right, and then east of that we have the Tigris. Okay, so it paints a picture. You got the Nile, the Red Sea, Euphrates, and Tigris. So what's in those boundaries would be that land. What river pours out in between that? What river goes in between those four rivers? Let's get it in Sirach. The Sirach 24 and 25. He filleth all things with his wisdom, as Pison and as Tigris, the Ezekiel, and the time of the new fruits. It said these waters poured out to water the land. He maketh the understanding to abound like Euphrates, and as the Jordan in the time of the harvest. He maketh the doctrine of knowledge appear as the light, and as Gihon in the time of vintage. All right. So it mentions these same waters, talk about how the Lord poured his wisdom out. All right, how the Lord poured his wisdom out as he likened them unto these different bodies of water. But these are the same ones that's mentioned in Genesis. The one that's been in the midst of the garden, which is the Jordan. And then it breaks into the other four bodies of water, which we just went through. All right. I'm going to jump to 30. I also came out as a brook from a river, and as a conduit into a garden. I said I will water my best garden, and will water abundantly my garden bed, and lo, my brook became a river, and my river became a sea. Now it's going into how wisdom pours out, but it likens into these bodies of water that's mentioned in Genesis. So it lets you know the breakdown. It lets you know what waters it is, what this, especially throw the Jordan in the middle of that. It lets you know what landmass is talking about when it refers to the garden that's eastward in Eden. All right, it's the land Israel and surrounding areas. All right, but mainly Israel is that focal point. It's predominantly Jerusalem. That's the focal point. But we got these waters right around there that water this land, and that's where the term Fertile Crescent comes from. Okay, Salaki, let me grab this. Is it in Ezra? It may be in Ezra. Does it say garden or say vineyard? And then this is really it. I mean, the point has been made. You look at the map, you look at the name of the rivers, it's plain once you go through it. I only dragged it along trying to look into those extra words. So lock it for that. Does it say garden or 1:5? It says 1:5. Not tripping. This is Second Esdras 5:23, and said, O Lord, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee one only vine, and of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit, and of all the flowers thereof one lily, and of all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled thee one river, and of all builded cities, thou hast hallowed Zion unto itself, and of all the fowls that I created, thou hast named thee one dove, and all the cattle that I made, thou hast provided thee one sheep. And these things, all those things are symbolic for Zion, for Jerusalem. All right, we're the Lord's vine. We're his lily. All right. Where's that river at the Jordan? It's talking about Israel, man. What verse am I at? 27. And among all the multitudes of people, thou hast gotten thee one people, and unto this people whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved of all. All right. We're the Lord's garden, we're his pleasant plant. Okay, this is Isaiah 5:7. For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression, for righteousness, but behold a cry. So we're the Lord's plant, we're his vineyard, hey, we're his garden. So when it speaks about the actual land of the garden, it's talking about what? Our land. That's the motherland, man. The scriptures plainly say that. You know? When I get back to Genesis, then click on it. I'll go back to that. I just look up the word garden. Gone. Garden enclosure. Figurative of a bride. Damn, that's spiritual. Who's the bride? That's crazy. Who's the bride of the Lord, man? Jerusalem. Figuratively of a bride. This is Isaiah 51:3. For Yahweh shall comfort Zion, he will comfort all her waste places, and he will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of Yahweh. Joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and the voice of melody. And it's describing the plenteousness we're gonna have, but it's also letting you know that, hey, we're that garden, man. All right. Point blank period. Jerusalem, that's the landmass. That's the garden. We're that garden. Point blank period, man. And he says we're going to be married unto our land, man. That land is our bride. That garden is ours, man. This is Isaiah 62:1. For Zion's sake will I not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake, I would not rest until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and all kings thy glory. And thou shalt be called by a new name, which the mouth of Yahweh shall name. Thou shalt also be a crown of glory in the hand of Yahweh, and a royal diadem in the hand of thy power. Thou shalt no more be termed forsaken, neither shall thy land any more be termed desolate. But thou shalt be called Hephzibah, and thy land Beulah, for Yahweh delighteth in thee, and thy land shall be married. For as a young man married the virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee, and as a bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall thy power rejoice over thee. So that land, that's the garden. All right, that land is like unto a bride to us, man. We're going to be united back with our land, man. All right. This is let me get this Fertile Crescent. And it's funny, it's called the Fertile Crescent, but it's very desolate right now. Like we read in Isaiah, what was that, 52? You know? And if you look at this, this is exactly what all those waters split up into. You got the Nile going through. All right, you got the Red Sea going up, hitting that part of it. Then you got Tigris, Euphrates, top right, and then in the middle of that, it don't show up, but you got the Jordan, man. All right. It says the region is one of the cradles of civilization because it is one location where settled farming first emerged as people started the process of clearance and modification of natural vegetation in order to grow new domestic plants and crops. And that's literally what Genesis 2 said, man. All right. This is back in Genesis 2. And (15) And Yahweh power took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. All right, so there you go, man. That's the landmass, the so-called Fertile Crescent, with the predominant, the main focus is on Israel. That River Jordan ran through that garden and split into these other four, And it was something else I want to look into here. Is it this one? Well, it just mentions different time periods of the land. But it mentions the same waters. It mentions the Tigris, the Euphrates, the Jordan. Okay? Everything we just read in the scriptures, man. The scriptures, it's simply the truth. It's simply the truth. And it's Galatians 4:26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all. Plain and simple, man. So with that, hopefully it's edifying. All praise, honor, glory to Yahweh B'Hasham, Yahweh Shai B'Hasham Rekakodash. Double honors to the apostles, Ezra Great Millstone, and Southeast Brothers doing this thing in sincerity and truth and with charity. Shalom, my Baba Ball.